Bystanders also overheard him immediately after all this went down get on the phone and talk to Warner Brothers, the studio. They say that he was telling these executives at Warner Brothers that he was the one being attacked, he was the one being hated on, basically doing damage control immediately after. And the reason why I bring this up is because when people talk about his mental health and he didn't know what he was doing and if it was wrong, to me, this is what they call consciousness of guilt, right? Is that the phrase? This is, to me, someone who knows, okay, shit, they're filming. This is not a good look. This could affect my job. Let me preemptively do damage control before they find out about it and call the studios and tell them I got attacked. So then when this video comes up, they already have this backstory that I told them at the time. That to me is someone who's at least has enough wits about them to know that what they did is wrong and looks bad. It's not just, oh God, I don't know what's going on. Wait, what happened? No, no, no. So that makes it sinister to me. That makes it not as excusable and forgivable to me. Okay. So anyway, they say eventually he was taken, ushered into a car and whisked away back to his cult and Airbnb cult commune thing. So the woman who was choked, she reported the incident, but she didn't want to press charges. And they basically banned him from this bar. But then they say he came back again later with a stuffed animal, like as a peace offering. From there, he ends up moving from that Airbnb to this hotel. And he moved to that hotel to record music. They have like a music studio. And so he's doing that. And now he's bringing more people over, not to his Airbnb this time, but to his hotel room. And in the hotel room, it's way more intense. It's way more aggressive because they don't have this big space to get away from each other. And he's going on these benders with these people for days on end where they're just in the hotel room and things get crazy. So here's an example. This is an 18-year-old girl. She says that when she got there, it was fine. For the first day, she said, all we did, we recited pagan chants, we smoked weed, and we chilled in the hot tub. Then she had a threesome with him and this other girl, and she claims that all of this was fine and dandy. It started to get weird when she feels like he started to basically like psychologically manipulate her and try to make her feel like this is it now, just leave everything behind and stay in this hotel room with me forever, and I'll do everything. I'll get you a career in Hollywood and whatever. Like she started to feel like, wait, am I ever going to leave here? So she says also that he would have these very intense mood swings. So this is the quote. She says, at one moment, they would look me in the eye and be like, I love you, and be this really nice, beautiful person. And the next minute, they would tell me that I was fucking disgusting. Like when this one woman, she said that she mixed up the Spanish words for 6 and 7. And she kind of was like laughing it off and leaning on Ezra, like, like, oh, I made a mistake. And Ezra was like, get the fuck off of me. And that this mistake she made was disgusting. Then there's another incident where they say they started to do yoga in the room. And Ezra got so upset and he started screaming, you don't know anything about yoga. In 2021, something happens. And there's this photo with Ezra wearing a ski mask. And then in this photo, according to Chief Bearcross, Ezra unexpectedly started brandishing that firearm and was it's like very erratic and freaking people out. They never knew like what could him off. The way that they started staying with Chief Bearcross is that Dakota ended up dropping out of school. She dropped out of school and she asked Chief Bearcross if she could stay with him in South Dakota for a few days. And he says that when she came, he was surprised that she had 4 people with her, including this guy in his 50s called Whitney Suiters, who was carrying firearms, as well as Ezra. They say Ezra would refuse to let Takata out of their sight, to the point where everyone was noticing, like, okay, that's really weird. And then this is where the crazy shit happened. He said at one point they saw them together having sex outside on a bed, and it was Ezra with Dakota, and at this point Dakota is 14 and Ezra is in his late 20s. The household member said she saw Miller having sex with Takata on a bed outside. It was dark, but there's a yard light, she said. Bearcross said the household member told him about this incident immediately after it happened. Takata told Insider this was so very false. They ended up leaving the reservation on New Year's Day and they go on this road trip to LA. During this road trip, the shit is super crazy because Takata and Ezra are basically homeless in a sense, where they're camping at state parks and things like that. Ezra is not providing her with her basic needs apparently at this point, also doing crazy things like brandishing weapons and being very erratic, wearing a Kevlar vest and saying the FBI is out to get him. By the end of January, things are escalating and it's going to be really, really bad. So in addition to Ezra believing that the FBI were out to get him, he also was saying that the Ku Klux Klan was out to get him as well. And so on January 27th, he posted this video on Instagram, but he deleted it. But there are articles that talk about it. They say that he said that this was for the Beulahville chapter of the North Carolina Ku Klux Klan. He said, look, if y'all want to die, I suggest just killing yourselves with your own guns, okay? Otherwise, keep doing exactly what you're doing right now, and you know what I am talking about. And then, we'll do it for you if that's what you really want. And in the caption, he wrote, this is not a joke. And even though I do recognize myself to be a clown, please trust me and take this seriously. On January 29th is when Ezra calls Takata's parents to tell them that she's incapacitated from an LSD overdose. So they end up getting on this flight, her parents, and showing up the next day. And they say that, quote, when they arrived, she was out of it and incoherent and screaming so relentlessly that she lost her voice for several days. She had bruises on her arms and left cheek, and she didn't have her phone or her ID. Other people who were on that farm told Takata's parents that the